Hey guys, this is James with RogueDuelist Trade, and on this channel we talk about current and upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh product and whether or not you should invest your money in order to profit. Guys, we are on part 2 of our risk analysis series for Genesis Impact, which is coming in December of this year. Very interesting set. If you guys haven't seen my part 1 video, go ahead and click the link above my head so that you guys do not miss any important content around this set that's gonna be coming this year. If you guys see the end of my part 1 video, I give you guys an update on the RDT Patreon where you can actually buy Yu-Gi-Oh product close to wholesale rates. I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of this video as well. Without further ado, let's go ahead and complete the RDT risk analysis to decide whether or not the risk is high or low for investing in Genesis Impact. So in our last video, we went over potential chase cards. We went over cards that help facilitate one card combos or just combos in general for both the draitron strategies and the magistus strategy. And we also went over that there's gonna be 15 potential collector rares that we're gonna be getting. With all that information, cards don't seem to be able to compete with our current meta, at least from what we can tell right now, but tons of potential. So we went ahead and graded that metric as a 4. Current card support buyouts, it's just very early. We're about 3 months from the set. We don't know everything that's gonna be coming in the product. So with that, we were able to find a few cards that help support the ritual strategy, which is what draitron is. And we saw that there has been some level of fluctuations, but there are also a lot of meta relevant engines that you can't really attribute to this product. So because of that, we went ahead and graded this as a 3. This definitely has huge potential to grow as we get closer to Genesis Impact. So our first metric for this part 2 video is meta relevance. Magistus is a spellcaster archetype, which is definitely very important because you have archetypes like Dogmatica, you have archetypes like Pendulum, you have cards like Magician Souls, Spellbooks. There is definitely a lot of engines out there that can help spellcasters, and the great thing about Magistus is that it is actually very generic for spellcasters. So as you're able to play a spellcaster strategy, you may be able to fit the Magistus strategy in there fairly easily, and that's definitely something that is very good for meta relevant archetypes, is how generic you can actually put this engine into other engines that are very meta relevant. And draitron is actually the same for Magistus for spellcasters, but for ritual monsters. It actually helps make rituals far more easier to play, especially in today's meta, because it helps you recycle cards in your graveyard, helps you get resources back from your graveyard, where your graveyard is almost like a second hand. And it also makes nearly every single ritual monster more playable because it makes it far easier to get ritual monsters out, because the ritual spell card basically lets you ritual summon a monster from your hand or your graveyard, tributing monsters where their attack is equal or exceeds the attack of the ritual monster you're bringing out. So you no longer have to worry about adding up levels in order to add up to the level of the ritual monster that you're trying to bring out, which makes ritual monsters far easier. And again, it's generic. So because it's so easy to add cards back to your hand or field from the graveyard, because it's very generic and it can fit into current archetypes like Nekroz, Heralds, Cyber Angels, there's lots of different ritual archetypes that this can meld with. I feel somebody will be able to figure out something with the draitron engine to make rituals very good again. And also there's a third archetype which is likely going to be Evil Twins that we have zero information on. All we have is the art that's right here in this video. And what we can see on Konami's website where they would talk about the Evil Twin strategy, they put this little blurb where it says, "We've restricted access to this section. Can't have our secret getting out, you know. See ya in December," which is very bizarre. They're definitely trying to string you along and make you believe that this is going to be a very good archetype. Definitely has the waifu aspect to it. And maybe they're gonna make this archetype very meta relevant. We really have zero idea right now, but there's definitely potential. In these deck building sets, they've brought us archetypes like Sky Strikers, Adamancypators, Eldritch. Huge potential within these deck building sets. I think that's something that we need to consider. Also, meta reprints. There's going to be a good chunk of reprints that we will be seeing in this set, as it is with most deck building sets. And they usually do consider a lot of meta relevant cards when they do those reprints. So that is something else to consider using the history that we know. So I went ahead and graded this as a 4. I think Draitron and Magistus have a lot of potential, especially Draitron, and we have no idea what that third archetype could be. I have a feeling it's going to be something that's good based on how Konami is trying to lead us on, and then also the possibility of getting some very good meta reprint card. Next is collector value fan favorite anime support, and honestly, we're gonna be getting collector rares. Collector rares performed amazingly in Toon Chaos. Now, we are gonna be getting more collector rares in the market. I watched John from House of Champs video, and he's worried that adding more collector rares into the market is actually gonna make the collector rares compete with each other. But I honestly think on product release, and probably the first week of product release, I think similar to Toon Chaos, we're gonna be seeing high numbers for those collector rares until the market kind of does its thing, and then it will probably start to go down. So I think from a vendor perspective, if you're pre-ordering this, I think the collectability for the collector rares is a very good thing. Ritual monsters is just something that people love. Nekroz was an archetype that people absolutely loved. It was meta relevant, and I think people like the nostalgia of rituals because that's something that's very OG for Yu-Gi-Oh! And then we're gonna be getting waifus. People love their waifus. We're gonna be seeing that in Magistus and likely Evil Twins from what we're seeing here as well. Mostly because of the collector rares, because now we're gonna be getting our second wave of collector rares in a new product. I went ahead and gave this a 5. I think this has a lot of potential. I definitely like that Konami is bringing collector rares into the forefront here, putting that in deck building sets. Now, I do think collector rares is probably not gonna hold as much value long-term as we keep getting collector rares, but at least for the time being, I think that's definitely gonna help in the value and the collectability of this product. So next is influencer consumer hype on social media. I would say probably most Yu-Gi tubers are saying that both Draitron and Magistus isn't really doing it for them. I do think a lot of them have been saying there's a lot of potential. Now, I would say that the community, the Yu-Gi-Oh community, has seemed very excited for Genesis Impact. I think a lot of people are very much looking forward to Draitron. There's been a lot of interest in Magistus, but I went ahead and graded this as a 4. I felt the consumer hype is actually very high, which I think does take a little bit of precedence over Yu-Gi tuber perspectives. And then next is gonna be product value versus cost. So it's $95 per box MSRP, and if you guys buy through the Patreon, it's actually about $54 and a few cents if you're able to pre-order it. But we're also going to be getting collector rares, and it's likely going to be like Toon Chaos, where the ratio was about every 3 boxes within a case, you see a collector's rare. There's 12 boxes in a case, which means you're likely going to be seeing anywhere between 3 to 4 collector rares. And if it's anything again like Toon Chaos, that was like $80 to $300 in range that the value had for collector rares. Now this will probably be lower. Maybe it's going to be anywhere between 40 to 200 depending on the card, who knows. Definitely adds value to this product. And honestly, I really do feel it's going to follow a similar pattern when it comes to collector rares for this product as it did in Toon Chaos. I feel Konami is gonna make some smart moves. They're probably gonna reprint some nostalgic card that could use a rarity upgrade or that a lot of people would like to see in a collector's rare. And then we're also going to be seeing cards from these 3 archetypes, probably their best cards, and we're gonna see them as collector rares, and they're probably gonna have super rare variants. I definitely think that the collector rare is going to do well in value. I'm gonna go ahead and score this as a 5. I think that Konami is doing a good job in how they're building their products and how they're just kind of restructuring products. From my perspective, they're doing a far better job than in the past. So next is reprint values or rarity bumps. So something to consider, the OCG's Genesis Impactor set is getting 45 cards, while in the TCG, it's a 60 card set. So there's a lot of opportunity for what Konami can do in this. Now in the OCG, they're gonna be seeing reprints. We already know they're gonna be getting Cyber Emergency. So we know there's going to be reprints there, but what's gonna be in these other 15 cards? We're likely gonna be seeing some level of imports, probably for cards that we're not seeing. Maybe Herald of the Diviner, which actually works very well with the Draitron strategy in tandem using Cyber Angel Denton. There's a lot of possibilities here for reprints, but with little to no information, I went ahead and graded this as a 3. Again, we do know we're gonna be getting Cyber Emergency, which is definitely gonna have some level of value in this product. It's likely gonna be a super rare or a rare. So even if it does come as a rare, it may have like a value of like $1, maybe 80 cents or something like that, which helps you in your value for a lot of your bulk cards. Now guys, before we go ahead and jump into the score for the risk analysis on Genesis Impact, I just want to quickly go over some cards that you guys may want to consider investing in as singles before the release of Genesis Impact, because these are cards I feel that are going to go up. So first are some of the main ritual monsters for Nekroz. These are definitely the better cards, and I think Nekroz is going to be one of the better engines to put into Draitron. We have Unicorn, Brionac, and Trishula. I think all of these cards come as secret rares, I believe, from their original print, and I believe all of them have reprints from Dual Power as ultra rares. I think either of them may be good investments. I feel Necroz will go up in value, especially because a lot of people love Necroz, and if there's an opportunity to make the archetype better, I see people investing into the engine. And next, as for Manju and Herald the Arclight, it help rituals as a whole. I've been seeing a lot of people playing one-ups of Manju. Manju has a lot of reprints, but interestingly enough, its value, even for the commons, are like $2, $3. It definitely holds value. I could see the super rare variants going up. Herald of the Arclight does have a level of reprints as well. I definitely see the ultra rare going up in value. This card can actually be very good because there's a lot of combos that I've seen people do, which are able to pitch this from the graveyard, add a ritual monster, and there's a lot that you can do from that. And then also Invocation, because Invocation, not only is it meta relevant right now, if it doesn't get banned, it's gonna continue being used as engines, especially in Magistus and Draitron. A lot of people have been playtesting that, and Invocation is just a very good engine in general. And Cross Sheep I've seen in both strategies. Called by the Grave I actually see as a good counter card for both strategies, because a lot of these strategies require having cards in your graveyard to use. I can definitely see Called by the Grave being a very good counter, especially against Draitron, because they have a lot of monster effects that can activate from the graveyard. Foolish Burial of Goods I think is good too, because within Draitron, the ritual card, if it's in your graveyard, you can target a Draitron monster, it loses 1,000 attack, add it to your hand. So Foolish Burial of Goods can just be another way of getting to your ritual card. So all right guys, those are the cards that I think you should consider investing in. I'm not gonna go over all of the potential rarities that you guys could look at, and I think this is enough information to help you guys do research and make some decisions in where you wanna invest your money. But the score for Genesis Impact for our RDT risk analysis came out to an 80.5%. I feel this is a very good score. I believe Secret Slayers was actually very similar to this. I think the collector rare aspect and the fact that they're restructuring it similar to Toon Chaos. Now that does not mean this set is going to perform exactly like Toon Chaos. Toon Chaos had some interesting things going for it, and it doesn't mean that's gonna be a like for like here, but I think there was a lot of interesting things that will carry over, like the idea of having collector rares, and I think there's a lot of hype in the Yu-Gi-Oh community for collector rares right now, and I think that hype will probably settle down at some point, but I think on product release it really does help the value for this product, and I think the archetypes serve a purpose within the Yu-Gi-Oh community that people are looking for. People love their spellcasters, people love their ritual cards, and people love their ritual archetypes, and being able to play those strategies better, especially ritual monsters, even though it might not be extremely meta, it very well has the possibility to be, because there's a lot of potential. I think people are gonna want it anyways because they're just fun strategies to play, even if it's rogue. So guys, that's the end of our part 2 video to end our risk analysis series on Genesis Impact, and this is a preliminary analysis. Once we get closer to product release, I will do an updated analysis. Now, am I gonna be investing in Genesis Impact? I would like to. If I can jump on it soon enough, if I have the funds available to do it, I'm definitely going to probably be getting at least 1 or 2 cases. Of course, I would like to do more. Now, if you guys are able to get multiple cases and you want to get it for the best price possible, if you don't have a brick and mortar, you guys should definitely check the RDT Patreon in partnership with PPG. We're able to get you guys cases as low as $649 per case, at least at the level 5 and level 6 tiers, and we can get you up to 2 cases at $655 per case on our level 4 tier. And we also have tiers if you're not interested in product, where you guys can just get valuable content information like ratios on product release, being part of Q&A discussions to discuss product after release, so that you guys can be more informed and more experienced as you get into Yu-Gi-Oh investing, if that's something that you would like to do as a side business. This Patreon is built around helping you guys make a side business out of Yu-Gi-Oh and helping you make it successful. So guys, definitely check it out. We've opened more spots. At the time of this video posting, if you don't see the spots that you guys would like to see available, because they are very limited, you guys can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I will provide updates on my social media accounts. And if you guys subscribe and hit the notification bell, I can update you guys through the YouTube community tab. It's a great way to be the first to see any of my Yu-Gi-Oh investment content that comes out on YouTube. And also guys, if you want to support the channel, like the video for the YouTube algorithm to help spread this content so people can find Rogue Duelist Trade. Thank you guys for stopping by. hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of Genesis Impact, anything you agree or disagree with me on. If you could respectfully let me know, I would love to hear your perspective. I appreciate it, guys. I hope you have a good one.